guys? So, here we are, we're back. Been a few days, huh? This is like part 5 now, I think. Welcome to the world of Higurashi Ch.8. Matsuribayashi, I think that's right. In this world, you'll be able to recreate the story from Henyu's point of view. Your objective is to create the June 1983 deal to you. You will need to collect many different fragments to make that possible. However, Takano's conviction is very strong. To overturn it, you'll need a lot of effort and a lot of fragments. A warning now, it'll be a slow and painful process. Henyu went through it for over 100 years, and she even had to stop and give in to fate. Defeating Takano's conviction will not be easy. The trial in this world will put you through as much pain as Henyu had to endure. You may surrender just like Henry did. Before I go on, apparently you can there's a secret ending to this, but apparently you can only do it like after like finishing the main game. So I will probably come back after I do that and get all the fragments and whatnot for the secret ending. Anyways, after being mostly worn down by the constant repetition of the world's proven by countless fragments, but I also don't know how you're supposed to collect them. Is it interactive? Man, I don't know. Anyways, when you feel like surrendering, you can end this game at any time, but if you do, the world's revolving around your friend's fate will be limited to Onikakushi through Higurashi. By forgetting about this world and installing this product, you will finally accept death, just like Rika did. Your ideal June 1983 can be created by putting together 50 fragments that are scattered all over this world. To connect these fragments, you'll need the right ones. There are 50 of them, which may be dizzying. However, this world isn't that merciless. To ease your pain, there'll be a little help for you. When you choose the wrong pieces, your only ally here will give you a sign that it's not the yet time to put those fragments together. As long as the sign remains, you will be able to connect them. You might as well go look for different ones. After you put other fragments together, you might be able to connect the ones you couldn't put together earlier. When that happens, she'll let you know. Let's put those fragments together. Then you'll be able to join the other ones too. When you connect all 50, they'll become one big fragment. There you'll be finding your ideal June 1983. So I guess my ideal June 1983 will be a world where, Kichi and all his friends are alive in the end. That's what was the long way that Matsuribayashi will begin. Before you peek at each fragment, why don't you line up all 50 of them first? Most of them require other fragments, so there are only a few you can actually look at. Let's try to find those first. To see the conditions for connecting fragments, just point the cursor at them. Before anything else, let's find the ones you can look without any conditions. This will be an extremely long, difficult trial. Let me tell you again, Henry challenges for over 100 years and gave up on it. If you believe in miracles in the same way your friends do, even if you don't live in the world where they live, if you believe in them. Welcome to the world of, okay. In this world, to be tested if you believe in the world that Rika and the others believed in. A miracle only happens when anyone combines their strength. The June 1980 created by Takano is nearly indomitable. She's gathered many people whose power are beyond the average person to her side, her backers being the center of national authority. Even if 100 dice are rolled once, there won't be even a chance to defeat her. In other words, a miracle is the only way forward. A miracle only happens when anyone combines their strength, and you're one of them. Are you ready? I'm more ready. More than ready. The key to a long journey is that the pressure isn't too hard. Well, then stick a light pace. I'll work while drinking my wine. Shall we begin? We have all the time in this world. Okay. Not quite understanding of this. Not quite sure how it really works. I've obtained new fragments. Okay. Connecting fragments. I don't understand. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into this. I'm really not sure how this works. You're supposed to just click on stuff. That's 4, 8, 16. Okay, yeah, I don't know how that works. Um, um, okay, can't do that one. Okay, can't do that one. Is there like a hint on what can go first? No. Oh, this one. Well, let's see if I can skip to it. Okay, I clicked on the right one, I think. I'm sorry for being late. I had an unusually large number of patients today. Thank you for coming, Lieutenant Colonel Irie. Tomatake stood up suddenly and saluted when he saw Irie come into the room. Alright, stuck on me, Lieutenant Colonel. I'm a doctor, I just can't get used to military ranks. Can you call me Director instead? Understood, Dr. Irie. Tomatake, of course I knew that Irie didn't like to be called Lieutenant Colonel, so it was something of a joke. They laughed casually together. On the other hand, Takano looked rather fed up with it. She couldn't stand hearing the same joke over and over, and was even thinking about talking to Tomatake about it. But she didn't want to hurt his feelings, so she simply never had the chance. Because of how Tomatake pronounces it, she just keeps hearing Risa, Lieutenant Colonel, in Japanese, Nisa. Once she heard it that way, she kept hearing Irie Risa. And the time Tomatake said it, when Takano told Irie about it, he had a good laugh. Today was just a simple meet and greet, and tomorrow's the actual meeting. Tomatake had already arrived, but there would be more inspectors from Tokyo at the meeting, waiting to hear about the progress that had been made. Anyways, I heard the whole village is all up in arms with the damn conflict construction project. You could say that again, the village is in such a mess. I participated in the local municipal explanation meeting as an official, but the whole thing was alive with angry shouts and profanities. After the basic Inamazawa Dam project was announced, the village was consumed with uproar. The government retracted their plans for concessions rather early on, and they made their aggressive stance clear. They didn't want the locals to take advantage of them by showing their willingness to compromise. However, that backfired horribly. As they had historical ties to the land, the government actions only made their bonds stronger. Neither the government nor the locals wanted to back down. People from Hinamazawa are rather hot-tempered, maybe because they're the descendants of demons. It's not funny. That wild meeting lasted all night. I feel your pain. Really, it's not funny, Tomatake-san. So what's going on with the dam construction? Are they really going to submerge the village? Tokyo's applying their pressure to the situation too. Things might seem clamorous on the surface, but in truth the supporters behind it are wavering rather hard. I hope their pressure produces effect soon. The whole village is buzzing with action from dusk to dawn, and I worry the villagers' minds are growing agitated. Sometimes I have to listen to my patients go on about their opinion on the dam construction plan. Why do you even listen to them? You're too nice. I have to. I'm a clinic director first and research center director second. It's part of my job to listen to them. That's very nice of you. It's admirable. I know that people in Tokyo will call up the plan sooner or later, but the villagers won't, so they have to live in fear that they might be forced to leave the land where they lived for generations. Even if they were told to leave, they don't have the money, and a lot of them are old. Maybe someone that didn't increase... Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Maybe someone had an increase in the amount of compensation they've been offered, but the government changed its mind. I don't think it's possible for them to come to a peaceful agreement at this point. There were actually some villagers who were satisfied with that amount and were willing to leave. However, the Sanazaki family didn't want to change their stance against the issue. They were actually leading the villagers in the fight against the government. There were blaring announcement banners everywhere, and as-if flyers are attached to the circulation notices. It's a serious matter for him, I guess I can understand. I hope the construction plan will be called off as soon for their sake. Once it's called off, this village will become peaceful once again. I know that, of course, things are moving right along in Tokyo, so taking a little more time. I heard a rumor from Tokyo that you're having problems finding the way to purchase that Minister of Construction. Is that true? I'm not sure, but I've heard myself that they're having no problem with some of the details. The Kano had powerful people supporting her, but they didn't control all of Japan. And there were some things that they excelled in, but also other things they weren't too good at. Finding a way to put pressure into the Minister of Construction fell into the latter. In all seriousness, though, we really won't be fixing any request to leave this area because of the dam, right? Of course not. I can guarantee that won't happen. It's just taking longer than we thought, that's all. So please continue your research. We're told that if things can't be resolved peacefully, then we may have to use drastic measures. Drastic measures? What do you mean, Tomataka-san? You don't need to worry about that part. Director Ari, please let's take care of it. I see. Okay, thank you for your work. It's fine, Director Ari. I keep wanting to say doctor. Anyways, the dam destruction plan will be called off. It's already been decided. It's Takano Gigo Tomataka laughed too. However, Ari couldn't understand what was so funny, so he felt left out. Ari only understood the meaning of those drastic measures when he examined a young boy he had never seen in the village before. Okay. Hey guys, I'm taking a few minute break here. Okay guys, I'm back. So this is the stuff that'll probably be on the video game. You gotta do these in a certain order after you beat the game to get the proper secret ending. So there'll probably be a sole dedicated video, hopefully. If I cannot find a proper, reliable thing. So yeah, I'm gonna just get to where I need to go again, I guess. Okay, I found a fragment that worked. My name is Satoko Hojo, but the Hojo was my current father's family name. It was also Satoko Take, Satoko Yoshizawa, and also Satoko Matsura because of my previous fathers. I'm still not used to being called Hojo-san. If someone called me Satoko, then I know that person is talking to me, because Satoko is the name I've been using since I was born. I don't understand why my mother keeps getting married and divorced. If she's going to get a divorce, why does she get married? If she's married, why does she have to get divorced? I've asked her before, but depending on the situation, her answers were different. When I asked her when she was married, she got angry. When I asked her if she got divorced, she cried. I don't understand the meaning of marriage, so I have no interest in drawing pictures of a bride in a wedding dress. But I don't think I'll ever get married. I don't want to keep changing my child's last name. My teacher once asked if I liked my mother. I think when I was in kindergarten in Okonomiya, that was a very difficult question because sometimes I loved her very much and sometimes I hated her very much. I couldn't decide. When my mother was nice, she smiled all the time. She made us happy and she thanked me for being her daughter. When my mother wasn't nice, she frowned all the time. She treated my brother and me very poorly. She told me I should have never been born. My teacher asked me if I liked my father. That was a very easy question because I always hated him very much, no matter who he was. The new fathers always treated me nicely at first. If I was their real daughter, then they always told me I could think of them as my real father, but they couldn't be my real father. Besides, I didn't even know my real father's face. How could I call them my father? I couldn't. It was disgusting. Right before divorce, my father always became very irritated with me. They treated me like a cockroach. They told me they didn't have any money to feed me. They threw things at me. They locked me out on the veranda. I was told I could forget about them because that was all in the past. I think that was a very different teacher from a different school. Maybe that's true. Because ever since Hojo became my father, my mother was been smiling. I never seen them get into a fist fight as I've seen that happen just before divorce. And they have a little arguments here and there, but those don't lead up to divorce. They always make up. I'm sure they'll get divorced sooner or later. Then it'll be same old stuff with family court, divorce settlements at night flight, and child support. So who knows how long this Hojo will be my father. That's why I don't feel like even calling him that. He also treated me well at first, but when I didn't call him father, even after he asked me repeatedly, he became irritated. They'll get a divorce soon. When my father gets in this mood, he'll get divorced. Divorce is on the way. After divorce, my mother started to be irritated with me, and then she'll tell me she shouldn't have had me or she can't be happy because of me. Why is my existence causing problems for my mother? I asked my brother, and he told me if you have children, it's not easy to find someone who gets married with. My mother remarriage is a very important job, so I can understand having children around will cause problems. I think I finally understand why I'm a nuisance to her. I asked my brothers at the house, why are children hated by new fathers? It's real simple, because family members all have different roles. A mother's job is to love her children. A father's job is to love their mother. That means I'm a nuisance to both my mother and my father. My brothers are more mature than me, so they don't have to look down on me as a nuisance. But maybe I am. No, maybe I am definitely a nuisance. So now I know both my mother and father want me dead. But if they kill me, they'll be caught. That doesn't mean they won't kill me. If I were to look down on the cliff and no one was around, my mother and father would push me off for sure. My father has become abnormally nice to me recently. He started to act that way ever since I made him fake the call. I know for sure that's just part of a plot to kill me, so I won't let them trick me. I'm sorry. Lately, when I listen very carefully, I can hear a voice apologizing. The voice sounds similar to mine. Her mother must have been telling her that she shouldn't have been born. I'm sorry, but I won't apologize like that. I'll live, I'll be going and strike back. I'll kill before I get killed. I'm sorry. Looks like I just got a Steam notification, probably to my question about this. So yeah, I'm gonna take a few minute break then again, and then I'm gonna go find out which is the next fragment. Okay, I found the fragment that worked. Okay, the forecast said there was a chance of rain in the evening, but I didn't think it would rain so hard. We decided to wait at an abandoned bus stop for the rain clouds to clear. I'm sorry, Takano-san. Oh, don't be, Jiro-san. I knew it would pour, so don't worry about it. Hee. Takano-san giggled. Although she said the weather might change, suddenly I dragged her out here. I feel stupid for making her come along and ending up ruining our precious day off. I have to go back to Tokyo tonight, so I'll be a while before I can return to Hinamizawa. I didn't want to spend my last day at a cheap hotel in Okinawa, so I asked her to go for a stroll. It's just, I'm really sorry. She teased me for a while, but only a little bit. She wasn't actually enjoying driving me into a corner. Just her way of communicating, finding it very charming. I think I've become captivated by her, but on her part, I'm just an auditor from Tokyo. That's why she's being nice to me, and it's definitely not because she likes me personally. So I feel like I might have to use my position to drag her out here, and that makes me a little depressed. I probably should have think this slight fever I have is due to nothing more than a cold, but she's the type of person who made it clear when she disliked something. She wouldn't say so directly, but she would use all the kinds of indirect expressions that meant the same thing. I want to believe she's out here because she might even be a little attracted to me. Shook my head as I frowned upon my selfish thoughts. She chuckled as though she knew what I was thinking. I felt myself starting to go red after that. You're a mysterious person, Jiro-san. I bet women don't leave you alone, huh? So why you hang out with a weirdo like me? A weirdo? No way. You're fascinating, Takano-san. Actually, I feel bad making you spend a day with someone like me. Of course, I decided to devote my life to work, but life is too dry with only that. I need to switch gears once in a while. Besides, communicating with the opposite sex is good for the brain. It's all good if I mention I'll clear your head. Don't you feel refreshed just being with me? She gives me an impish smile that makes my heart skip a beat. I tried hiding my embarrassment so she wouldn't notice my ears going red. Of course, when I'm with you, I do feel refreshed, yeah. Besides, if you learn about avian photography, I'll get a buddy to share my hobby with. So next time I bring my old camera. It's really expensive to buy a new one, Thank you. I would love to learn about the avian photography that you're so intrigued by. I'm looking forward to joining you on a stroll next time you go. So I don't need to buy a camera, do I? No. I'll try my old camera first, and if you enjoy it, then you can buy one for yourself. I'll send it to you when I get back to Tokyo. Thanks. And I'll have you to critique my photos when you come next time. Sure. I can hardly wait to see them. That'd be nothing compared to yours. It'd be my very first time doing it, While she keeps her cool smile, all I can do is blush and scratch my head. Am I being conceited? I can't help but think that Takano-san likes being with me. If it's mere flattery, I don't think she'd come along this far. I don't know. Taking women's flattery seriously is the mistake I always make. I shouldn't assume that she's attracted to me. By the way, is this the first time we've been alone like this? Yeah, right. Usually the director or some other research staff is around. I don't know anything about you. I don't know exactly what you do in Tokyo or what you've done in the past. I wonder what you do in self-defense force. I was an instructor for a while, but I hurt my eye when I was injured. I can live life normally, but they made a big deal out of it, and ever since all I do is desk work. Takano-san giggled, saying I must have done something silly to cause the injury. And when I helped PR with their magazine, I became fascinated by photography. Cameras have the power to make people happy. But you don't know what I'm talking about, but it's true. Since I started taking pictures, my life has been a lot happier. How can I make a camera and make someone so happy? Well, a camera takes a snapshot of a moment of life. Of course, you want to capture that moment that's filled with happiness, right? So you look for happiness through the viewfinder. And as you search, you realize your everyday life is actually filled with happiness. For example, a dandelion sprouting by the crack of the asphalt, just a weed in a busy life. But when you look at it through the viewfinder, it's a gift to let you know that spring is approaching. You capture it and put it in an album, and every time you open the album, you remember how happy feeling you had when you looked in the picture. Oh god, my reading sucks. Anyways, so you always feel that when you take your pictures, sure, I don't have ambitions of taking artistic photos or capturing a dramatic prize and winning moment. That's not important to me. I want those moments we don't notice, and we help us recognize those little moments of happiness is the greatest thing about the camera to me. So I'm really glad to be able to see him myself through my viewfinder. I have a tendency to go overboard when I talk, but most of the time, Takano's playfully twists my words right back at me. So it's very unusual for her to listen to me like this. Takano-san sat down next to me and tried to fit off my camera. I don't know how much of an impression I made, but I think she's indeed interested in cameras. I was expecting her to tease me like usual, so I'm happy to see this as her reaction. You want to try? Do you think I can? It's easy. First you need to learn how to focus and press the shutter. Why don't you hold it? I don't ever touch the lens though. Phew, this isn't easy. She seemed to show an interest in cameras. I wanted to take a walk around Hinazawa and take some pictures of the scenery, but unfortunately the rain doesn't seem to want to stop. But she was still having fun and kept taking pictures inside the bus stop, so the first of the pictures she ever took were of odd things in the dark little building. Since then, every time we meet, we end up walking around the village with our cameras in our hands. Okay, guys, I'm going to go ahead and skip next to wherever the next fragment is, because there's a lot to click through. Okay, I found one that worked. Group physical exams are very meaningful for our research. Although it's only for certain age groups, we can examine many of the Hinazawa residents at the same time. It's a perfect cover for each research center. Also, because of civil arrangements, we have monopoly on the village's corpses that could perform autopsies on them too. There certainly wasn't an environment this rich an opportunity for those in the medical field. Our follow-up on the work of the late Dr. Takano is going smoothly, and the amount of data he's compiled is absolutely astounding. He was truly an incredible researcher. Excuse me, Director. Oh, Takano-san, thanks for your work. We just received the rest of the test results from Tokyo. Here they are. Thank you. This is interesting, isn't it? Hehe, I'm glad we can share this joy. Takano-san is my assistant who's sent from the Self-Defense Force. But she's far from the image of an SDF officer. Just like our research is being concealed, maybe her identity is being concealed too. I'm sure her name is an alias as well. I'm just a doctor and researcher. Without Takano-san's support, it would be impossible for me to manage this institution. She's a pipeline to her clients in Tokyo, my assistant, as well as a researcher who's an expert in the Hinazawa syndrome. Her existence is absolutely necessary here. The more I think about it, the more I feel this should have been the Takano Institute rather than the Ira Institute, and she should have been the director. But that was explained to me when they asked me to take this position. My client wanted a civilian to manage this place. They researched for a person who met the requirements, and there I was. I became the director. I have a feeling I'm just a puppet on their strings, but I won't just sit here and do nothing. I was asked to research a rare disease. I'm a researcher, so of course I am excited about that. My client's goals may be different, but I'm not here with the desire to unravel the mysteries of Hinazawa syndrome and be the first person to uncover a new mystery for mankind. We all have this data that suggests the existence of a parasite as the cause of the syndrome, yet we still can't find factual evidence of the culprit microbe itself. It's true, I thought we'd only find it easy for using an electron microscope versus a too small to see with the regular microscope, so the invention of the electron microscope was a dramatic advancement in the world of medicine. However, it's very expensive, and there's no way for a normal doctor to acquire one. The late Dr. Takano said an electric microscope could only find the cause of the disease, but it seems his theory had been proven wrong. Even Takano-san was hoping an electron microscope would find it. She was disappointed when she didn't discover anything under all the autopsies she performed. Our research seems to be having this first snag. It's actually stalled our work for several weeks now, so we need to think where we need to go from here. Which means either smaller than microscopic, or maybe there's something wrong with the specimen itself. What do you mean? For example, as you know, wild mice have tons of fleas on them, but you can't find fleas on dead mice. That's because when the mouse dies, their habitat dies as well. So if the host dies, the parasite's world will end too. That's right, just like you won't find a living human in the post-apocalyptic world. Therefore, we just have to look up to the earth before it ends, right? That's true, however, we need to think about human rights. It's hard to look into the brain while the patient's still alive. Examining a living human's brain, no matter how you sugarcoat it, is devoid of very grave meaning. From a medical standpoint, it's necessary, but we have rules and morals in this world, and we have to advance medicine within such boundaries. There was a time when I was studying lobotomies for the betterment of mankind. But I don't think I was wrong. However, could I ever be forgiven under ideas of ethics? I don't know. One day my judgment will be handed down by the devil. Whether I'm guilty or not, I have to accept it. As I reflected upon my past, I heard a voice. It was Takano-san's. It was very clear and simple, yet it struck me as a surprise. Understood. Let me prepare a world on the verge of death. What? I'm startled. Sometimes the phrase advancing medicine bore the whisper of the devil, tempting us to accept sacrifices. I heard that devil whisper. It's not that difficult. I just have to find a Hinamizawa resident who is about to die, that's all. But even if they're about to die, who would be brave enough to provide their body for research while still alive? Don't worry about that. They're dying anyway. We're just going to put it to sleep a little sooner on the paper, of course. The patient would be legally declared dead even though they're still alive, and we perform an autopsy while they're still alive. That's impossible. Besides, if we perform neurological surgery, we have to do a circular incision on the cranial area. Their family will notice the marks for sure. That's where we come in. I'll have the mountain dogs look for a patient in the local hospital that matches our needs immediately. All you have to do is wait with a knife and fork in your hands. I'll bring your meal right away. Mio Takano-san's my partner, there's no question about that, but I just can't trust her. It's her extremities of the researcher with contrast largely mine. But are we so different? I'm here simply waiting with a knife and fork in my hands, just as she told me to. I just don't want to witness such a gruesome scene, that's all. What she's preparing for me now is exactly what I want. Who's the hypocrite? Not her, it's me. How can I say I'm different knowing what I've done in the past? I performed lobotomies without the patient's consent, despite it being surgery that might affect their life forever. How is that different from what she's doing? I've never doubted my past achievements. However, when I look at her, I start to feel unease. Takano-san is talking to Okanogi on the intercom in my office. I'm sure she's telling him to come over so she can explain to him what they just discussed. I'm simply watching without stopping her. I begin to reflect upon my past to remember why I choose to become a doctor. Yeah, well, okay guys, I'm going to take another few minute break here and then look for the next fragment. Okay, I found a fragment, okay. When I asked Rika-chan, she says Satoko might have possibly gone to the mountain behind the shrine. She's fond of going there. That mountain is covered with trees and vines and fallen logs, but she really likes the area. Any child would dream of having a secret base, and the Satoko, her secret base is the whole mountain. However, the mountains were underdeveloped territory, making them a dangerous place that's easy to get lost in. As her brother, I'm a little concerned that she spends too much time on it. Maybe I should worry more about getting myself lost as I really come here. The mountains get dark quickly in the evening when evening falls. If I still can't find her, I should look for her somewhere else. Satoko, in as loud as I can, but in the woods my voice doesn't carry well. According to Rika-chan, she's been making her secret base in this area. She goes up there alone to expand it. What does she mean by expand it? If it's a secret base, she might not want anyone to find it. Does that mean she's set up some traps? Considering that, I should have noticed the traps on the mountain before one got me. Wow, suddenly my foot sunk into the ground a snag of something like a jump rope type of new dried leaves. I heard noise from above, and then a big ball of branches fall right next to me. It had to be one of the playful traps Satoko left. If I wasn't so lucky, I'm sure the ball would have hit my head. Oh my, look who's here. It's you, Nini. Satoko. This kind of forest place is dangerous. Do you not see the sign put up by the Forestry Service? It clearly states it's dangerous to come in these woods. One wonderful traps will welcome anyone who ignores that warning. Well, her brother, I should stop her from doing things like this, but unless you're brilliant small, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen that small in some time. By the way, Satoko, when you told her to come home by evening since we're going out for dinner tonight, I don't want to go, that's why. Why don't our mother and father go by themselves? If you want to go, you can go with them, Nini. And you still angry at father? He threw an ashtray at me. No, that happened with our previous father. Our current one hasn't done that. He locked me out on the veranda. He didn't feed me lunch. He complained I got the wrong brand of cigarettes and slapped my face saying I shouldn't be a picky eater. And then she used to talk about our current stepfather. Things all about all our different stepfathers that makes themselves up in her head. Every time our mother remarried me, they call a different man our father. The word father isn't a word that we should be taken lightly. If you don't truly acknowledge a man as your father, how can you call him that? That's how much weight it carries. However, just because things seem smooth and peaceful, I use the word fathering when I didn't want to. It was too difficult for Satoko young as she was to do the same. Ever since Satoko was little, she's been having troubles with her stepfathers. She's never opened up to her current one. To Satoko, a father figure is no longer someone she can trust. It's true that her current stepfather doesn't have any experience being a parent, so he sometimes gets rather upset with her. But ever since the incident when Satoko called the child abuse hotline, our father regretted his mistakes and tried to do his best to communicate with her. Even my mother realized how much Satoko has suffered emotionally when it was pointed out by the social worker. She's doing her part in trying to bring Satoko back into the family, but Satoko completely refuses to even try. It's understandable, though. Her childhood has been filled with misery. Satoko can only open up to me. That's why I have to be the one and only family member she can trust. Otherwise, she'll be all alone in this world. But a father and sister alone can't be considered a family, even if we don't get along now. If we continue to communicate even in a small way, we may be able to become a real family someday. Satoko, our current stepfather's getting nicer. He says he wants to make up with you. Nice news to me. That's because every time he tries to say something, you run away. He wants to talk to you. He says he won't make you eat pumpkin anymore. That's a lie. He said I can't leave until I eat pumpkin, and he tied me to the chair. Again, she's talking about her current stepfather. Satoko, just come with me, okay? Mother got free dinner keeper. We don't want it to go to waste, do we? We already had the reservation, and we have to go today. Why don't you go, Nini? I prefer staying home alone. Satoko usually just stay up playing the slave. She knows we're going now. That's why she's here alone. Although I want to snap at Satoko, I control myself because she only has me. I can't scare her. Please, let's go home, Satoko. You don't have to decide to go or not right now. You can think about it after we get there. Besides, without your help, I can't find my way down to the mountain. Nini, I brought you here so many times already, yet you still haven't learned. What am I going to do with you, Nini? Satoko holds out her hand. She often says she's embarrassed to hold my hand in front of people, but she's holding her hand out right now. I took that hand, Satoko's fragile hand. I have to protect her as her big brother. Let's go home, Satoko. Oops, I missed that last very line of dialogue. No, that's fine. I have a feeling what the next fragment is, though, so I'm not too worried about skipping it. You know, pretty sure it's probably this one right here. Oh, no, okay, then what is it? No, okay. Okay. The dam construction will bring in new jobs and revitalize the local industry. That's not what we're saying. Who the hell gave you permission to build a dam here? You squeeze tax money for us, is what we get in return? Who do you think pays your salaries, huh? Look, we're trying to explain to you. We don't want to hear your excuses. We want to know when you'll stop the construction. You're useless. Bring the Minister of Construction here. He'll get to the bottom of this. Shut up, you yuppie. Hey, you're paid our tax money, so why the hell are you talking down to us from up there? Come down here and let's speak face to face. The auditorium is full of angry shouting. The sign at the entrance says, Hinamisawa Dam Construction Explanatory Meeting. Every time the official on the stage tries to say anything, the citizens packed into the room silence them with their shouts. Trying to ignore them, the official continues to explain the pros of the dam, but that just further infuriated them. Between the stage and citizens, there was an open area where a police squad was standing by. If they weren't there, the citizens would jump into the stage and start a riot. I'm watching all this from the back of the auditorium. It's obvious anyone that they're being swallowed by their anger. They become filled with the bloody red rage. The anger that came from a certain purpose becomes a purpose in itself and creates a vicious cycle where anger leads to more anger. Anger is a necessary emotion for humans. People face many difficulties in their lives. Anger gives them motivation to fight and conquer such difficulties. Before anger is an essential part of life itself, so I will never reject the anger itself. However, just like this, it goes far beyond normal, makes people forget their purpose, and it's no longer an essential part of life. As the blood rushes to their head, a person can't even remember what they've done. They go out of their control. Such emotions are very painful and sad and difficult to endure. I can clearly see the villager who lived alongside us turning to demons. I understand the rules of the human world. The power of the individual can't be compared to the power of the government. To be able to fight an individual needs to become part of our larger unified power, but to steer that unified power in the right direction is extremely difficult. The cycle of anger leads to more anger, not anger that helps you live, but anger that exists only for anger. It's just like being a demon, and this emotion is capable of violently rousing us from our long, peaceful slumber. Everyone is immersed in their own anger. We lived peacefully with the villagers while we slept quietly, yet now we're awakened, and it's like the world is trying to return us to that age when demons were terrorized with the Omikafuji swamp. I keep shouting and I want to get them to calm down, but my voice can't reach them because of the vicious cycle of anger. Even so, I'll continue shouting to hope neither one of them will hear my voice, because if I don't do anything, the demons may awaken. Demons now into the deep sleep may reawaken because of this commotion. Then all of a sudden the atmosphere changed. Looking up, I saw that an angry exchange between villagers and those on the podium had devolved into confrontation because between the villagers, themselves. What's going on? Shut up. Those are your reasons, not ours. Don't listen to this, you old hag. Who the hell cares? The hell you say, you bastard? Hey, now you know who you're talking to. This is Orio's son. You got some nerve, huh? Who the hell do you think you are? Shut up, Sonozaki. So what? I'm Hojo. Get your goons away from me. Hey, Hojo. How do you say that you want to be the village to be submerged? How much are they paying you? Shut up, you old geese. Listen, there are plenty of the poor people in Minnesota. Not everyone is rich and has fields all over the mountains like you do. I'm satisfied with the compensation from the government. They even offer to provide us with public housing. Yet you're ruining everything, you assholes. Don't pretend you're the same as us. If you want to fight with the government, then why don't you fight by yourself? Then who's going to pay you? I'm poor and have 2 kids at home. I was planning to start a new life by living here in peace after getting compensation from the government and finding a job elsewhere. But you, since when did you represent me, huh? Do you think you're that important or what? Hey, Hojo, did you betray us? Then get out of this village. Sure, I'll be happy to, but you're going to pay what I'm entitled to, right? You're going to pay me every yen of the compensation I was going to get from the government. And if I wanted to leave the village, I don't have the money. If you're going to pay me, I'll leave straight away. Hojo is right. There are plenty of residents who are willing to leave. You 3 families shouldn't drag us into this. The hell is this? You just spoke. Come on, who was it? If you want to stay, then stay. We have the right to leave, so don't interfere. That's right. Back the hell off, you damn Sonozaki hack. Ooh, damn. Of course, we'll compensate the people who support the damn construction plan. We most certainly will not steal the land from you. Shut up, government dog. Are you trying to divide the village? Die, Hojo. You don't deserve to breathe this village air. You hold your breath and suffocate to death. Screw you, old hag. I'll murder your ass. Step up, fucking damn hag. Hey, stay out of this, you fat pig. Very good. That was very good, Hojo. I haven't been this pissed off in so long. Go get what you deserve. Look forward to it. Good, get him, Hojo. The government has to provide us new jobs, shelter, and compensation. Hey, stop this violence. All of you, stop it. Like hell, bring it on. Come and get some. Anyone is being tainted with the bloody red anger, and I can only watch. Least I can do is to apologize for the tragedy that's about to happen. I'm sorry. This is how it's started. From this day onward, the Hojo family and the Sonozaki family will wage a feud against each other, and the Hojo family will become ostracized within the village. This marks the beginning of Satoshi's life of tremendous hardship. Okay, time to get a drink and find the next fragment. Okay, found the next fragment. My harsh and brutal days are still continuing without the end. The situation between my aunt and Satoko remains the same. My aunt yells at Satoko for no reason every night. Although Satoko cries, she still talks back to her. So my auntie's yelling going on forever and ever, and Satoko's crying goes on too. When Satoko sees me, she grabs onto me. She hides behind my back and tries to ignore my aunt's yelling. She always comes to seek my help. Satoko doesn't open up to anyone but me. So if I don't protect her, she'll be devastated. That security is something that our parents didn't grant to Satoko. I have to be the one to provide it. But every day, day after day, time after time, Satoko cries every day. Satoko grabbed onto me while crying yesterday. I patted her head, but along with pity, a different emotion came to me. I wanted to grasp her head and smash her against the wall. What? Wow, okay. One unbelievably devilish and awful emotion. No, I can't think that. It's not that I can't think it, I just can't acknowledge that feeling. Since that day, there's been someone else inside of me. That someone's trying to eat me from the inside and switch places with me. When Satoko begs for my help while crying, that person tries to make me spill out some awful and hateful words that are sure to damage Satoko forever. Leave me alone. Don't grab onto me. Go away. No, I can't. To prevent him from taking over my body, I clenched my stomach and drove him out. I meant to do that. But that wasn't it. The person is coming after me, trying to get back inside of me. I won't let such a scary thing get back inside of me. He knows there's no room to slip into my heart as long as I keep it held shut like this. So he stopped trying and instead is falling right behind me, waiting for me to let my guard down. When I walk, he walks right behind me, breathing down my neck, follows me everywhere. When I lay down, he stares down at me. He's waiting for the right moment to jump back inside of me so he can hurt Satoko. It's been so hot lately. Maybe the heat's getting to me, and that's why I'm thinking like this. I'm the only family Satoko has, so I'll have to protect her from my aunt for the rest of my life. That's my eternal duty. The rest of my life, forever? Do I really have to do that forever? If only Satoko, but I'm her only family. But it's because of my aunt. It's because of villagers, too. It's almost with Tanagashi. Some irresponsible people are saying that the curse will once again fall upon Himisawa. They're also saying it'll fall upon me and Satoko for sure. Maybe it's just my imagination, but even villagers expecting it are giving me especially sharp looks. I feel like I'll be killed on the day with Tanagashi. Of course, there's no reason why I would be killed. It's just my imagination. Slap. Don't come inside me. Satoko's my only sister and family, so don't tell me all those awful things. Slap, stop. Don't come this way. The footsteps came up right behind me, and hand touched me on the shoulder. Rena. Are you okay? Are you... I must have been acting weird. Rena looked worried. Her name is Rena Ryugu. She was moved here and transferred to my school. Nobody remembers her, but supposedly she lived here in Himizawa a long time ago. In fact, she hardly remembers anything about Himizawa either. Since Mion is the only other classmate who isn't my age, I'm glad she's my friend. She usually carries on happily alongside Mion, but occasionally she shows more feminine consideration. Are you feeling okay? Do you want me to take you to the nurse's office? Do you? Thank you, I'm okay. Do I look sick or something? Yep. Her immediate answer made me realize I wasn't myself. Is it about Satoko-chan? Are you worried? No, that is Annette. She knows that my problem isn't physical, but a mental one. This is just that I think to myself, but even though Rena seems like a very easygoing person, maybe she's more perceptive than she appears. Since I just transferred here recently, I may not be able to help much, but I can at least listen. Sometimes talking can help. Although she just transferred, she already knows quite a bit about me and my sister, and also about the situation with the villagers. But talking about it won't solve anything. Actually, if I talk about it, I feel like I'd be admitting to my weakness, which might give that person a chance to get inside of me again. You were so surprised just now. That's why I thought something was really seriously bothering you. No? Lately I felt like someone's following me all the time. Stop. I thought that was you. Sorry, I don't even know I'm talking about it anymore. Footsteps following you, I know those footsteps. If I'm look for the next fragment, I'm just gonna say it's safe to assume the ones with the borders around like this one, like we've done this one. I bet we can do these ones now too. Yes, okay. I wanted to become a doctor ever since I was a little kid. The doctors make a lot of money. People look up to doctors. I think those are the kind of reasons I had. So when I would play with my friends, I always acted like a doctor. I cleaned their wounds and applied ice packs, and when my friends sprained their ankles using what I learned from household medical books. Everyone, including me, I believed that I'd be a doctor one day. My family was poor, so they praised me for that goal. They told me I needed to study a lot to become a doctor, so they borrowed some pseudo-medical books from the local library for me. The rental fees weren't cheap, so I would speed read one book in a day, and the next my parents would go back to the store to exchange it for different books, saying they accidentally borrowed the book that they've already borrowed before. By doing so, my parents borrowed 2 books for the price of 1. Of course, now I know those books were rather useless, but they were highly motivational just the same. My neighbors called me Dr. Kyosuke-kun, and I was always picked for a class health officer at school. Even my teachers helped me with the classes I needed to take to become a doctor. Of course, in reality, becoming a doctor is as easy as it might seem. I had to study diligently, and the path was most definitely rough. To become a doctor, one must attend college. Since my family was poor, I was told I wasn't allowed to go into an expensive private school, so I had to be admitted to a national public university. My grades weren't bad, but the admission rate to the national public universities is very marginal, especially since I wanted to go to a medical school. My chances were even smaller. I studied like crazy. My only driving force was a childhood dream of becoming a doctor. The dream of becoming a doctor and to be looked up by everyone kept me going, and when I was admitted, I was at the top of the list, but I made it in. I was following the starting point of making my childhood dream come true. My parents were thrilled. Neither my father nor mother went to college, so they're proud of their son getting into a public medical school. They invited our relatives over to celebrate. Although it was a public university, tuition wasn't cheap, but they still had an extravagant celebration anyway. My father didn't express his emotions much. He always kept a straight face. He rarely voiced his opinion or took initiative on anything. My mother took care of everything. He showed up last and left without saying a word. He was a typical stern and silent Japanese father of the time. That's why I was surprised to see him shedding tears of joy, and I cried along with them. He went around to all my relatives while repeatedly slapping my back, saying how proud and lucky he was to have a son like me. He bragged about my achievements to all who would hear him. The celebration became my farewell party as I was about to leave for Tokyo. My father yelled "Banzai" repeatedly at the station, and the train pulled away. I was a little embarrassed, but when I could no longer see my father, I could clearly recall the tears pouring down. The days of hellish studying exams began after that. Some days I was tempted to just give up and submit myself to the lavish lifestyle of the city, but the letters from my family always encouraged me and gave me the strength to go on. My dreams then was to open up my own clinic in my hometown so I could contribute to the region. I never even dreamed of getting involved with the brains. One day I noticed a difference in the letter from my family. The letter said the usual things about how I was at home, but I asked how I was doing. But the postscript was caught my attention. Your father has become really violent lately. Sometimes he turns the house upside down and I don't know what to do. I just couldn't picture him acting viciously. I was extremely surprised. Did something happen? But in the postscript my mother said there was nothing that she could think of. My mother and father have been together for a long time. They've been together since well before I was born. So she noticed things that I couldn't. She couldn't even think of a reason why my father became so violent. What happened? They got along so well. They're such a lovely couple. But when I caused the problem with my mother when I was little, my father would only bonk my head with his knuckle. Why was he acting this way towards my mother? Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding between them. I was going home for the new year. Maybe I could have a good talk with them then. But the situation was a lot worse than I thought. One cold winter day, I found my apartment door unlocked. I thought someone had broke in, but I found my mother in my apartment with her luggage. That's right. My mother could no longer take my father's fury and came to stay with me. That was back when my people still believed in the proverb, a woman has no place to settle down all her life. She couldn't go back to her own family because they lived in the same region as my father, so she came all the way to Tokyo. I heard about my father's violence from my mother's own lips. She cried, saying she had no idea why such a quiet man changed like that. She said she wasn't ever going back to him. I didn't know what to do. I asked her if she could talk to him one more time, but the bruises on her body told me it was no use. To remember what happened afterwards is too much, so I'll be brief. After my mother left, my father thought she was having an affair and went over to the neighbor's house with a wooden sword, and he was arrested. He was released immediately, but he assumed someone in the neighborhood was hiding her, so she did the same thing repeatedly. He eventually reached the point of getting into fights with anyone he saw. At the end, he picked up a fight with some young punks and ended up being beaten to death. My relatives gave my father a decent funeral, but my mother didn't attend. It's no use beating a dead horse, so nobody even said anything negative about my father, but everyone was so simply puzzled as to why he changed so much. What I heard from my relatives about my father's final days was a lot stranger than what I heard from my mother. My mother only told me about this sudden rage of violence, but my relatives told me he also laughed and grew sad. Apparently, he displayed several sudden fluctuations of emotion, especially so in his last years. They told me that he started to complain about headaches after an accident he had. My father was a construction worker. He had hit his head hard in a construction board during an accident on work. He regained his consciousness quickly and seemed fine, but since the accident, he started to have headaches and behave abnormally. I sensed the connection between the accident and my father's changes, so I talked to my professor after I went back to Tokyo. I can't say for certain, but it sounds like possibly your father suffered some kind of brain damage. There's a chance that a blow to his head caused an organic mental disorder. The symptoms your father showed in his final years are very similar to the delirium and mental fluctuations were often seen in simpler patients. Human behavior is created by the brain, and if the brain damages can cause erratic behavior. In other words, my father wasn't crazy, he was suffering from a disorder. If we could perform an autopsy on him, we should check his brain carefully. Maybe you'll find something like a tumor there. My father had already been cremated, so there was no way of knowing. But hearing about this behavior, I knew for sure. This was the only way to explain why such a quiet gentleman would change. I tried to explain all this to my relatives to regain my father's honor, but hardly anyone understood. His brain was damaged, he would have been dead, but he was alive and well. The accident did damage his brain. It wasn't his brain that caused him to change, it was his mind. They simply brushed it off like that. This is a perception that most people have about the brain. They don't realize the mind and brain are connected. Most of the relatives didn't believe me, but there was one person I really wanted to anyway. That's my mother. She got older, she grew senile, she exaggerated the abuse she had endured. All she did was criticize my father, and every time she ended up crying and lamenting that she married him. They were a lovely couple. We were a great family. That's why I wanted to convey her to she was misunderstanding the situation with my father. My father's behavior was caused by his brain damage. What she did to her was very sad, but he didn't want it to be that way. I told her that he wasn't a fault. But my mother didn't understand. Before she took her last breath, I begged her to forgive my father. But her final words were, "Please don't bury me next to that man." Damn. My father wasn't at fault. He was simply the victim of a brain disorder. You can't complain to a person who's coughing because he has a cold. Because coughing is just a symptom he should be sympathized with. In my father's case, the symptoms weren't as obvious as a cough. They took the form of changes in personality, which are much harder to recognize. If I had studied the brain more, I could have explained it better to my mother so she could have understood them. But they could have been a nice couple again in heaven. When I realized that, I cried. But I also realized that there are plenty of people like my father in this world who are suffering from this disorder, yet they're misunderstood and despised for it. Then I found out the miraculous cure for such a disorder called lobotomy. Ever since that day, I spent my days learning about the brain so I could help people who are suffering from mental illnesses. My father's gone, but if he was still alive, I could cure him myself, so he and my mother could reconcile. That's the main reason why I'm here. Okay, I'm taking a few minute break. Okay, guys, I'm actually going to end this video here. Seems like we still got a lot left over. So, that is going by if I have to do every single thing. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see y'all in the next video.